I wish that went longer. Well, I'm joining you on the tri-monthly listen, if you guys are fans or not. I've noticed my views are kind of going up on YouTube, so I appreciate that, everybody. We are in the thick of it. We're in the thick of it. Obviously, you guys know if you've been listening for a while, I'm from Minnesota. We are dealing with a lot of stuff going on. Well, not directly in my community. I mean, there's like gay protests going on. don't deport the ones who are here illegally. Why not? Why can't you? You are actively going against the sanctity of this country. You're coming in illegal. You're entering illegally. Let's be professional. You're entering illegally via coyote, via, smugglers, same thing. Via false papers, you're doing what you got to do to get in. Maybe you're working. Maybe you're doing good things. Maybe you're paying taxes every year. Maybe you're still contributing to society in some way, shape, or form, but you're doing it under a false name. That's tricky. It's not really tricky. Case in point, it's wrong. But I'm not here to ostracize those who are... The thing is, okay, let's break it down. When Biden opened up the border, remember that when he did that? When he opened up the border and agents or whoever it was, I think it was the DHS or the Border Patrol or DHS, they welded the gates open. You can go look this up. It's general knowledge. That actually happened. When they did that, they let in a whole entire shitstorm of illegal aliens. And they just came in droves, dude. There were like lines and lines of people like walking miles and miles from like Central America up. They had to cross some treacherous terrain to get here. So I admire the tenacity. I admire that tenacity to be able to like that determination to be able to that drive to be able to make that trip. But unfortunately, it doesn't really matter because, they came here, they're here, you're working, you're paying taxes. But the problem is we had so many of them come in at one time that when Trump got into office, he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to get everyone out. We're just going to get everyone out. I don't care if you've been here for 30 years. I don't care if you've had kids here. I don't care if you were born here to illegal parents. You are not staying. And I don't really blame the guy. I mean, look, I'm not going to be a jackass about it and be like, oh, we'll let him stay or whatever. I just don't. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to tell you that I'm 100%. I'm not really. No, I am taking a side. And I'm going to take this side. If you came here illegally, you broke the law. That's what you did. And you shouldn't be here. I don't care if you pay taxes. Regardless, if you take someone's false paper, if you take not false papers, if you are under an assumed name, okay, you're under a name, maybe this person died, or maybe they lost their social, or they sold it, and you buy that social security card, you pay for those papers, you get this fake ID, and all of a sudden you're here working, and maybe your name is like something crazy. Maybe it's just like a Latin American name, and maybe it's like a Latino name or a Latinx name or whatever. Let's be PC here. Maybe you have this Latinx name and you want to be, under the radar, just doing what you got to do to get by. You're trying to get a better life for your family here. I get it. Immigration's horrible, okay? Like, there needs to be a reform of some sort. It takes people 10 plus years to be able to get through and to be able to come here. And by that time, it's like, what are you going to be doing in 10 years? Seriously, what are you going to be doing in 10 years in your own country? If you're trying to seek asylum, what are you going to do? Ooh, those are good. Pardon me. But so basically, Where's I going with this? If you're here and you pay for those papers, you pay like someone that you know who's been here before, or that's like their business. They sell you Social Security cards, okay? Look, I knew people who did it when I was using drugs. It's kind of weird. It's a really weird business. It's a sketchy business because you're just selling someone's information. And that's a crime. It's a federal offense if I'm not wrong. I don't think I'm wrong on that. I feel like it is a federal offense. It's a crime. And then if you're buying that, it's like you're receiving stolen property in a way. And so that makes you a criminal. If you come here, you're a gangbanger in your country, and you come here and you want to, let's start with a clean slate. Let's just do the right thing. You're still doing the wrong thing because you're here illegally. You didn't go through immigration the proper way because you knew they wouldn't take you. And now you're here and you're like, oh, why are they deporting me? I didn't even do anything wrong. I'm just here to try to make a better life. This is the land of opportunity. Don't get me wrong. This is the land of opportunity. This is a great country. Case in point, this is an awesome country to live in. America is awesome. USA, dude, all the way. But if you come in here and you try to skim by and get your rocks off in whichever way you want, maybe you're trying to do a better life. And then what gets me, case in point, you're a criminal. That's it. I'm not going to say anything more on that. But what gets me is these white saviors and these white knights and blah, blah, blah. We're going to save all these people and you're not going to take my neighbor. It's like you never give a fuck about them. Up until this started happening, you never cared about them. All you care about is cheap labor. And all you care about is trying to do this weekend social justice activism bullshit that you do. And it's ridiculous because right now we have people who, Renee Good, obviously. I'm not going to say RIP because I honestly don't care. And then we have the guy who got shot today, Alex Pretty, whatever his name is. I don't know. Case in point. Whether she tried to run him over, whether she tried to run that Asian over, I don't know. We've all seen the video. Whether or not she tried to run him over, case in point was you're impeding federal business. Okay? I'm not saying she deserved to die, but maybe she shouldn't have been there. Maybe her and her wife shouldn't have been there. Maybe you guys should have been going on a date. Your kids are at school. Singular, not plural, because the other two live with their father. Okay? They tend to leave that part out. All right? She lost custody of her two older children. She is, so she had custody of one, dropped her son off at school. Her and the wife were thinking, what's a great idea for our free time when our kid is in school? Let's go obstruct federal processes. Oh, it's a weird idea of a date night. I'll say that. It's a weird idea. I don't think my wife and I would ever go do that. If the kids are all in school or, they're with a sitter or something, it's like, oh, let's go be social justice warriors. Like, no, thank you. I will stay out of that business. So, obviously, it ended up costing her life. And I think her wife is kind of to blame, too. Drive, baby, drive. Drive, baby, drive. What terrible advice that is. Drive, baby, drive. Like, dude, you're surrounded by federal agents who probably are super pissed off that people are messing with them. And I suppose on the flip side of the coin is, why are they even there in the first place? Well, I just explained it in the first 3 minutes we were doing this, okay? They're here because they have a job to do. That's it. Case in point. There's nothing, there's no way to sugarcoat that. They're here to do a job, and they're going to get that job done. Whether you get in their way or not, it just might delay them a little bit. And then what happened today with that, I'm not going to say young man because he's older than me, with that guy who knows better, the guy who's old enough to know better. I don't know if he had a firearm. I don't know what happened. I tried to watch the videos. It's kind of weird. It's a weird, grainy video. It just seems like it's always the grainiest video imaginable. And for it to be so for sure in stone, like what exactly happened. Here's the facts. Here's what happened. Case in point, dude got pepper sprayed. Case in point, he was in ICE agents' faces, antagonizing them, basically trying to impede on federal officers doing their job. Pardon me. What the hell was that? He was trying to impede on the processes, basically. So he got in the way. And it's like, okay, so if he had a permit, because I see the people on the left, oh, he had a permit to carry that gun. He was, oh my God, he was able to do that, and they just executed him publicly. It was terrible. And then people on the right are like, oh, Fafo, dude, he got what he deserved. But it's like, okay, I'm going to take a centrist point of view here, and I'm just going to be logical and common sense, because I don't know all the facts, but what I know is that he was there, and he was doing bad things. He was there antagonizing and trying to be like, oh, I'm so progressive and I'm so cool because I'm here and I'm so woke and I'm able to stand up for my neighbors because they matter and I don't. So it's like ultimately it costs you your life, dude. It costs you your life. And one thing that's interesting that I thought about, this is an original thought. This is something that I read somewhere, and it makes me think a little bit, because you have to think about it, if Renee Good or Alex Pretty had been murdered or had been killed by an illegal immigrant, an illegal alien, Democrats wouldn't be saying shit. And all I can think is mic drop, dude. That's a mic drop, because they wouldn't care. They didn't care about Lake and Riley. They didn't care about Jocelyn Flores. They didn't care about any of those people. Any of those young girls who were brutally raped and murdered, or who are the other ones? There were a couple of other, Americans who were murdered by, maybe it was a drunk driving accident and it was, at the hands of an illegal alien. But no one cared. I mean, for crying out loud, dude. Democratic lawmakers and congressional seat holders did not even stand up when Trump gave that speech and basically said, Lake and Riley's family's here, stand and honor them. Everyone stood up except for the Democrats. Why? Why do you hate them so much? Do you hate Trump that much that you can't even respect a family who lost their daughter due to rape and brutal murdering? Shameful. It's shameful. It's crazy. Like, what are we doing here? Are we that divided right now that we're just lacking complete compassion? And I'm not even talking about just on the left. It's also on the right. It's like, a woman lost her life, okay? People lose their lives. A young man who was a VA nurse or, a vet, from the VA clinic, he was in there. They said he was in the ICU. I don't know what's true. The story gets twisted so much. That Renee Good was such a good mom and she had custody of all three of her kids. Bullshit, dude. She had custody of one. And they're throwing out these old pictures of her when she was married to a Christian man, pregnant, doing maternity shoots, blah, 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 blah. And in reality, she was trying to play social justice warrior, and Alex is doing the same thing on the other side. And it's like, dude, I don't see the benefit here on either side. I know where I stand. I absolutely voted for this to happen. Not for these deaths to happen, but for the work to get done in my home state where people are being deported because, they're here illegally. I think the country as a whole, to make it safer in some way, shape, or form. And I'm sorry, but if you're here illegally and you're not breaking the law, you're somewhere in the cut somehow, because you're going to get fucked up. Like, this is how it is. You might get deported. That's just how it is. And you knew that coming here. But I see so many people on the left and the right that they just misconstrue the whole thing. And it's like, oh, Fafo, dude, like he deserved it, or maybe they shouldn't have been doing this. It's like, yeah, maybe they probably shouldn't have been impeding. But the thing is, you have to somewhat have some sort of sympathy because these people died. Maybe at the hands of themselves, more than likely the hands of themselves. But it's like, why? What goes through these agitators' heads? What goes through these people's heads where they're out there? They're trying to do this, what in their mind is the right thing. We all know it's not, but they can have a cause. You're able to peacefully protest. That's a right. That's a right. It's a constitutional right. You can gather peacefully and you can protest, but you need to keep it peaceful. That's the tricky part. Excuse me. You have to be able to do it in a peaceful manner, because as soon as you start agitating and rioting, like, hello, do you guys remember 2020? Like, that was what shocked me the most, is like, the white saviors in the comment sections that are like, oh, well, they already saw what happened in 2020. Are they ready for that to happen again? It's like, dude, are you really like excusing the fact that like Minneapolis got burned down once? I don't care if it was I don't care if it was not Minneapolis as a whole. I don't care. The thing is, that was a complete war zone back in 2020. And it wasn't even just there. It was other places like Kenosha, Wisconsin. It was tons of... Wait, was it Wisconsin or Illinois? Yeah, Kenosha, Wisconsin. That's just places like that. Hello, we lived through Ferguson as well. I mean, the shit got real. LA in 92 after the Rodney King beating. Yeah, like, dude. History repeats itself. It just does. And for us to be... For people to just be so daft and to be, oh... Don't they know what happened in 2020, or don't they know what happened in 92? It's like, dude, that's not the point. The point is, don't burn a city down. Don't loot. Don't be a freaking dumbass, basically. It's not hard. But people just want to be heard, I guess. They want to feel like they're making a difference, because it's like their life is so mundane and like lame, that the most important thing they in their minds they can do is gather, loot a store, basically do unemployed shit. You know what I mean? Maybe you work a 9 to 5 and you have a free weekend somewhere where you're like, hey, you know what? I think I wanna go out and do like a little peaceful protest. That's fine. Peacefully protest. But as soon as you start making it into a you're throwing pipe bombs, or you're throwing tear gas, or you're blocking cars, and you're like screaming at police officers right like 5 inches from their face, and you expect not to get like pepper sprayed or shot with a rubber bullet, then I think you're definitely on the wrong side of history. I don't have time to go protest. That's gay. That shit is so gay, dude. I will never go protest. That's so lame. There's never been anything I've wanted to protest. I mean, we've held a rally before, but that was a little fun thing to do. I mean, that was an interesting thing to do. And the cause, I really stood up for that cause, and I think that was more important than anything. But when it comes to protesting like things that I don't necessarily believe in, and I'm not going to ostracize or condemn someone for protesting something if they believe in that, that's fine. You can believe in what you want to believe. I'm not going to look at you any differently. But as soon as you start doing unemployed activities like breaking windows or taking PS5s or taking TVs or burning your local Target down, like that's crazy. That's insanity. It doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe it's not supposed to. Again, I'm not trying to act like I'm higher and mightier than anyone, though, because I'm really not. I just know what I believe, and if you guys who have been listening for a while, like, that I don't care what people think. I do to an extent, but when it comes to things that I believe personally, like, this is my hobby. This is something that I do, and some people on the left might look at this as bad as like looting and rioting. Maybe I'm doing worse than that because I have a voice on a platform and I'm saying things that aren't necessarily kosher with their beliefs. That's fine. We don't have to believe the same things, but I'm still going to be respectful towards you. But if I catch you anywhere and you're doing stupid shit like trying to rob a store or whatever, I'm just gonna be like, come on, man, put your pants up, be real, don't be stupid. But yeah, so Minnesota is kind of a, and the thing is also the lawmakers, like the mayor Jacob Fry, Tim Walz, they're like, oh, get the fuck out of here, ICE. We don't need you. The resistance is now. It's like, what are you guys actually saying? I thought we dodged a bullet when they didn't elect Omar, whatever his name is, Fateh or whatever, that one guy who was running for mayor. Ilhan Omar also saying just brain dead shit, basically. And the fraud coming to light. I don't think anything's going to happen with that. I know that the DOJ has issued subpoenas to Minnesota lawmakers, but I don't think that I'm not surprised that this is happening. Just a little bit disappointed. You know, like when you would do something kind of weird and your dad would be like, "Oh, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed." Like, that's so much worse. It's so much worse to say that. But I think the most important thing is, like, we see these lawmakers doing these stupid things. They're like, oh, get out of here, ICE, or you don't belong here. It's like, I'm sorry, but they're here on presidential orders. They need to be here. It's federal. You can't interfere with government, like federal government business. And then one other thing that really I got a kick out of, this is a weird example, but not really a weird example. It's just kind of like in the same wheelhouse. After this whole, when Nick Shirley was in Minneapolis and he looked through those, he went to those Leering centers or the daycares, the fake daycares or the fake medical companies. And all the people on the right were like, we're not paying taxes until this happens. Like, yeah, dude, try not to pay taxes. See what the fuck happens to you. You can't just quit. You can't just be like, I'm not paying taxes. They get you for tax evasion, you're screwed. You'll never be able to recover from that. And you can't just be like, oh, I'm done playing the game because taxation is theft. Dude, I think taxation is theft. Absolutely 100%. But am I going to stop paying taxes? No. No, I'm not going to stop paying taxes. Come on. If I can keep my head down for as long as I possibly can, I think we're losing connection. Maybe we didn't. Sorry, I just said something buffering there. My philosophy in life is just keep my head down, work my job, make sure that my family has what they need, pay whatever tax I need to. Like, I'm not gonna go to a board meeting and be like, "This is outrageous that you're charging us 0.5% tax, blah blah blah." When in reality, it's going towards like ICE detainee facilities, and I would gladly pay that tax. I'm not going to go and be like, why are my property taxes going up? This is insane. Like, this is my property. I pay for it. It's like, I'm sorry, but my property taxes are on a loan. Like, my property's on a loan right now because I don't own my house quite yet. It's on a mortgage. So I'm going to continue to pay what I need to pay. If it gets to be too outrageous, I'll just move. But unfortunately, in these current circumstances, I'm bound by my job. I'm bound by my family. That's more important to me than trying to be right to win an argument. Back in the Revolutionary days, when they threw all the tea into the Boston Harbor, yeah, that was different back then. People didn't really have like set jobs, I don't think. I'm sure there were businesses, but it wasn't like as structured as it is now, where the IRS is established and more modernized or industrialized as it is now. Back then, it was like, yeah, it's a bunch of guys that probably, well, I'm probably not going to go to work today. Let's go. And the boss was probably like, hey, let's go and take care of this tea thing, this whole tea tax that's going on, because I can't stand 2%. I get it. It's a statement, okay? But it makes me wonder, like, how much of history is actually written in the history books that we know about that's actually true. Because that's all we know, is that they threw the tea in the harbor and among other things. But I don't know anything else about like taxing that people did. There could have been some really wild, outlandish things that happened, but we won't know about it until we do like independent research and reading other books of people, accounts of other people doing things. So Yes, they documented that big major one over a 2% tax. Today, I don't think you could do that because there would be IRS agents blowing your phone up, IRS people, calling you like, hey, are you going to make sure that we get paid for this? And otherwise, they'll shut your assets down, I'm sure. I'm sure they will. I don't know what happens if you don't pay your taxes. I mean, I don't think I paid tax. I didn't pay taxes for a long time. When I was using, I just didn't pay taxes because I didn't have any money. So how could I pay taxes if I didn't have a job? But I digress. That's what happens here. Yeah. So things are a little weird now. Things are a little wild. We're not directly affected, but things are okay. I just, you hear so much about it, and we have so much access to so much information now when it comes to the internet that it's like, boom, you're on to the next one. Like Renee Good being shot. Boom, on to the next one. Someone gets shot in the leg. Boom, on to the next one. Alex Purdy gets shot, killed, dead. What's the next one going to be? Major terrorist attack on Bondi Beach. Boom, on to the next one. What's the next one? We're so desensitized to violence, and we're so desensitized to major things happening in the news. Pardon me. We're so desensitized because we're getting all this information at once. Too much information is not a good thing. Because you're not fully taking in everything you're not fully taking in one thing at a time. You're not sitting on it. It's like you're trying to read 6 books at one time. And you're forgetting, all the stories are just getting meshed in together, and it's like it's all bleeding together. And we're just forgetting what happened. School shootings. You forget about it. And then there's the next one a year later. Shootings at churches. You think about it for a week, on to the next one when the next thing happens. It's crazy. It's just crazy that. And the Epstein files on that for a month. On to the next one. What's next? What's the next distraction from that? Who knows? It's such a weird thing. Charlie Kirk getting shot. On to the next one. Month later, what are you on? Something else. Why? Immediately after, the week that he was assassinated. The week that he was assassinated, it was literally, who's going to replace him at college campuses? Really? Already? You guys are talking about that? Crazy. And now Minnesota has been like the main character on the stage for a while, but yet U.S. grants Israel the authority to bomb Lebanon. Epstein files are probably getting released under the radar. How can a person be that plugged in? How could anyone be that plugged in? Is this too much information at one time? It gives a person a nervous breakdown, man. And the whole Greenland thing. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what's going on with the whole Greenland thing, but I think it's kind of funny. I mean, I know that the U.S. just pulled from the World Health Organization. Awesome, because they really fucked us on COVID. They fucked us so bad. But at the same time, it's like you have to be careful what you see on the internet, too, because it's not always true. It's not always true. It's like rarely ever true. And the thing is, AI is getting so good now that there have been a couple videos that I've seen that there are just little subtle things in it where it's like, I'm getting tricked. There was one of a guy, it was like top 10 mechanic fails, and most of the videos were real, except for like this one. This guy had a transmission fall on his face. And the thing is, I should have known it wasn't real because a transmission just doesn't fall on your face and you just like roll out from underneath it. That thing falls, it falls on your face. And it cracks teeth and it hurts you. But there was like a little subtle difference. There was something like a can of like soda right in front of the frame, and it just was a nonsense brand. It wasn't even a real brand. It was like Yogo Bargo or something like that. And yeah, it's just weird. It's AI is getting real good now. It's been tricking a lot of people for a while, like the Joe Rogan podcast, or between him and Elon Musk, where you can't see their mouths past the microphone, so it's like you can easily just dub like an AI conversation there, and then just do like you just doctor it to the clip, and you just can't tell. I mean, I can tell. But those I can always tell because there's certain things that AI can't do, like mimic your voice 100%. Like I downloaded the Sora app, and that's where you can make like fake videos. You like type in prompts, it makes a video where it shows your face. And I know what you guys are gonna say. Oh, I can't believe you took those pictures of the profile of your face or blah. It's like, dude, think about it this way: if the CIA actually created Facebook, okay, or the FBI, they got everyone to put their personal information all in one place. They got them to post pictures of themselves, continue to do it still, post pictures of their children, post pictures of where they are, what they're doing, just to keep other people updated, right? So the thing is, I do TikTok as well, Instagram. Whoever's looking for my information, they have it. And it doesn't matter. What's one more thing? I mean, I still won't sign up for Face ID because that's weird to me. But the thing is, if I went somewhere and I like blew up a store or something crazy like that, or I went and robbed a store, right? And there were digital cameras there, and there were security cameras there, and they took a picture of my face. They had facial recognition. They'd be able to find me in a heartbeat. I'm in a database. Even if you're not in the database, they know what you look like. They know what you look like. It's not hard. We've willingly put our stuff on there. There's nothing different. So anyway, where's I going with this? Oh yeah, you can make these fake videos by typing in a prompt of whatever. And they still can't quite get my voice right. And I've done, they do like a voice recognition thing where you test it first. And I think you can keep updating it, but they still can't quite get my voice correct. Like the right way that I talk, the cadence. The voice doesn't even sound like mine. It's close, but it's not me. So, but AI is getting good, man. It is getting good. It's really getting more advanced. And that's more of our drinking water that's gone. So, all because I'm asking what the 14th Amendment means. And it uses a lot of water. I don't know exactly how much, but it is kind of nice to have AI where they're able to like give you information based on like you don't have to go looking for it over 3 different links when you search something. You can just type it in and it'll give you like all that information together, comprised together from all those articles that you normally would be going and looking through. It's kind of nice. I enjoy that. I'm probably killing the planet, but I don't care. We're so spoiled as a society, we don't even think about like where water comes from. Or we don't even think about like where the next drink of water is going to come from, or where our next meal is going to come from. I mean, there are people who are struggling like that. And whether it's self-inflicted or not, like, we're kind of a spoiled-ass country. Because there are other countries that don't have that luxury to be able to live so carefree. And to me, it's a blessing and it's a curse because we are less sympathetic or empathetic when it comes to that kind of stuff. Empathetic or emphatic? I don't know the word. Let's just say sympathetic. We're not as sympathetic to other countries' issues And there are people who try to pretend like they are, but that's just BS. You see someone who's like Greta Thunberg or whatever her name is, where she's so worried about the planet. I'm so worried about Palestine. Or are you? Are you really that worried about Palestine? I mean, think about like what's going on in Iran right now, where the people there's like a major push for regime change. They want to take out the Islamic State. Girls are taking off their hijabs. People are protesting in the streets, and then they're just open firing on these protesters. I think it was like what 20,000 that were murdered. They're just shooting people, hanging people from cranes. I guess I don't really know what's going on with that situation. But it would be nice if the Islamic State would just go. Because, and I'm not, as soon as you can't separate church from state, that's weird. It's so weird. And I'm not anti-religion. I'm not, I don't really care for Muslims at all. I mean, I don't really know them, but I know that there's extremists in any religion, there's an extremist that will screw things up. And the sad thing is, with this regime shift or this change in regime that they want to happen, the government just takes full control, and they're an Islamic State. Like, they're shutting down the Wi-Fi, they're shutting down certain things, and where's it going with that? Oh yeah, like what's going on with Iran right now with all those innocent people being killed? Where are the Free Palestine people? Where are you? Where are you? Or are you advocating for the Islamic regime that is slaughtering people by the thousands? You'll never convince me that these people aren't paid to do this kind of bullshit. You'll never convince me otherwise. You'll never be able to convince me. So it's really dumb. They're misplacing their anger on certain things that people are telling them to. Like, oh, free Palestine. Really? Why? Why do we need to free Palestine? Because they're the oldest? What about free Iran? What about free the Iranian people? What about that? Or no? They probably don't even know what flag that is. I don't even know what flag it is. I'm just being honest. Being an activist is probably the stupidest thing anyone could do. Because again, it's the information piece. It's like they're getting so much information from different places. You don't know what to advocate for. You don't know what to protest. You just wait for them to tell you, and then you jump on the bandwagon with the other people. And the thing is, the people who are protesting the ICE raids right now are the same ones who said in those videos that, no, I will not have these people come and stay with me. In those conservative troll videos, like Liberty Hangout with Caitlin Bennett, excuse me, where she has like, I don't know if it was her exactly, but they have like 9 people who are from Honduras. I'm sure they're actors or whatever. But they have 9 people from Honduras that are like, oh yeah, would you have them come and stay with you? And the white person, it's usually a white person, like a white liberal. They're like, no, I probably won't do that. It's like, okay, so then you don't. Just keep your mouth shut, keep your head down, and just do what you're going to do. It's not hard. It's not hard to just mind your own business. It's not hard to just like shut your mouth and just keep moving forward. Like, just work your job, pay your bills. Don't worry about what's going on unless you're being directly affected by it, which you're not. I'm not being directly affected by any of this. And that's probably my ignorance, as they would say. That's your ignorance. That's your white privilege talking. Newsflash, I'm Native and Mexican, okay? So I'm not just completely white. Like, I'm white passing, but I'm not just completely white. I'm Native and Mexican. So, but again, I was born here. I'm a legal citizen. I was born to an American parent. I don't care. 2 American parents, actually. So I don't care. To one Mexican-American parent and one that was American. So, and the bullshit argument, oh, well, you were an immigrant too. You and yours are illegal too. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. No, they're not. Me Me and mine are not illegal by any chance whatsoever, by any stretch of the imagination. I've touched on it before. Like, my grandparents came here, worked in the fields when they're on work visas. They left when they expired. They left when they expired, and they kept reapplying and coming back to work. That's all it was. That's all it was. They knew, and now my grandma's down in Mexico living still. Like, she's in Mexico. She's where she's supposed to be. She can come visit. They go visit her. Yeah, cool. And my grandpa, he's long gone. But my grandparents on my mom's side, like, we're here. Her grandparent, like, my grandpa and grandma on my mom's side, their grandparents that came here, like, great, however many greats that came here during, like, McKinley's presidency or whatever. Like, it was a completely different ball game back then. You came over on a boat, arrived at Ellis Island, figured out where you were going to go. They gave you a name. They gave you a last name or whatever if you didn't have it. And that was it. You just went and you started a life because we needed that back then. We needed it. There was a huge demand for it. And I'm not saying we don't have a demand for it now, because a lot of these people who are like from Central America and Mexico and, South America or whatever, they're going to come here. They're going to do the jobs that white people think that are beneath them. For example, working in turkeys, like, yeah, you see a lot of it. Working in poultry, working at farms, working in, blue-collar jobs, manual labor. Like, you see a lot of people who are of Latin origin that do that, But, again, if you're not here the right way, you don't need to be here. Case in point. That's it. I just don't, I don't really know. It's a weird time. It's a weird time in America. It's a weird time in the world right now. I can only hope and pray that Jesus comes back very, very soon. And I know he's right around the corner. I'm hoping he's right around the corner, because we need him. And then I get a kick out of the people who say, well, you're not a real Christian if you don't stand up for your fellow brother or sister. It's like, dude, shut up. You're not going to tell me how to be a good Christian or how Jesus would have acted if you don't believe in that. You're not going to sit here and tell me that I'm not a good Christian or I'm fake or whatever. You're not going to say all that just because, oh, he's not a real Christian because he doesn't stand with the immigrants, or he doesn't stand with the liberal leftist views or the communist views. It's like, dude, I don't, because I'm allowed to think that way. Or when they say Jesus would have been a socialist, I doubt it. Jesus didn't align with anyone politically. He didn't care what you believed. He only cared that you believed in him. That's it. Because at the end of the day, everything else is moot. Like, this podcast is just, it's pointless. It's really pointless. But I keep doing it because I love it. It's fun. It's fun. But at the end of the day, none of it really matters. What matters more to me is my family and my belief in Jesus Christ and my faith. And I don't care about, like, this trivial stuff. But I like to speak on it because it's fun to talk about. It's fun to just ramble and just go on with my thoughts. So, and I do appreciate you guys hanging out. It means the world to me. Some of you are building my views up over time. Like, I appreciate you. I really do. And I'm not a complete asshole, okay? I know my opinions may say otherwise, but I'm thinking next week we're probably gonna, whenever I do the next one, whenever it lines up. I've been doing it like month by month, 3 months at a time. And I say, I'm going to do one every week. It's like, dude, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do one every week. But I think next time we meet, I'm probably going to have a guest. There's a guy that I'm friends with on social media that we're trying to figure out a way to do an episode together. He had a podcast a couple of years ago, like during COVID. Really cool dude, legit guy. But we're gonna talk and just bounce ideas off each other, and maybe it might be the start of a new thing. Might be the start of a pretty good friendship. He's a cool dude, and like I said, he's awesome. We're gonna be able to talk about certain political things. He's not. I think he's in the. Yeah, he aligns politically with me, so it's gonna be a little more of a bias thing. But we'll be able to bounce ideas off each other and talk more. Because I know it's hard to do solo stuff, and I think I've touched on this before. It's real tough to do solo stuff, especially if I'm not feeling it. There have been so many episodes I've done that I've like scrapped them, and I just haven't done anything with them because I don't feel it at the time. I don't feel that drive. But right now, this is a pretty good one. So I do appreciate you guys hanging out. It is now January 25th because it just hit 12. I can't believe January is almost over. 2026. It's crazy. It's awesome. All right, I'm going to hop off here. I appreciate you guys sitting here and listening to me BS and talk my crap. So thank you. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Have a good month. Whenever I see you guys next, we will be able to have more of a structure here. But no, I'm not even going to make that promise. There's no structure to this podcast. Just thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. Again, this has been Political Sanity. Signing off.